Okay, good day everyone. How are you doing? Trust we are all having a great day. So, without really wasting much of our time, as you can see, the title of my video, I just want to reveal to us guys how I was really able to catch this crazy risk to reward, which is 1 to 39 risk to reward. That's crazy, family. That's really, really crazy. Like, this was my biggest win so far this month. This was my biggest win, and I did not just achieve it like just by waiting like I just plan the trade, then it actually plays out. No, it was a game of patience actually. It was really, really a game of patience because, I really, really waited for a very long time for this trade to actually play out before I really, really take advantage of it. It took me like 2 weeks or 1 week thereabout, 1 week and some days, I think. So, it is not really, really something that just happened. I did it today, tomorrow it happened. No, I have to have that patience, right? I really, really have to have that patience for the idea to actually play out. I have to have that patience. As a trader, you need to understand that this game is a game of patience, and you have to keep it in the back of your mind that it's a game of probability as well, because it is not all the time that you actually wait for trade, to actually mitigate your points of interest and it will actually go your direction, right? That is what made it a probability game. I mean, so that is what made it a probability game. It is not all the time that you wait for your opportunity to play out and you become profitable. So you need to understand it. You know, it's a game of probability. So sometimes you will wait, and when you take your shot, you will end up getting stocked out. Sometimes you will miss, sometimes you will win. So it is all part of the game. Just relate trading to your physical life. Relate trading to how things used to happen to you physically. It's not every day that you woke up feeling lively about yourself. It's not all the day. It's not all the days. There's a day that you will just wake up from morning, you just feel stressed. You wake up, you feel bad. You wake up, you feel, it is the same thing with trading. Apply it to your trading, journey, right? Apply it to your trading. I mean, apply it to your trading. It's not all the time that you expect win in the market. So I don't really want to make this video so long. I just want to show us guys how I was able to catch that crazy risk to reward. Trust me, family, it is real, and I'm going to show us guys the clear example of this trade, how I was able to catch the lower time frame entry, I was able to catch the bigger time frame entry without any hesitation. Like, there is no any fear. Why? Because I planned the trade, right? I planned the trade and I followed the plan, and boom, boom, a 1 to 39 raised to reward. That's crazy. That is really, really crazy. I believe we all know that. That is really, really crazy. So let's get started. Let's get started. I was able to catch this crazy raised to reward on Europe JPY. Like, this is the pair that I don't really used to trade. I won't really lie to us guys. I pay more attention to Europe USD, GBP USD, GBP JPY, AUD SDD. Those are the four pairs that I pay a lot of attention to. I don't really go from one pair to another. Those are the pair that I pay a lot of attention to. So, I was like, let me just try this guy, and this was my biggest pay for the month. Trust me, this was my biggest pay for the month. So it is like that sometimes, but we just need to stick to our role and follow our plan. So let's get started. Let's get started. So how was I able to come up with this crazy risk to reward trade, and how was I able to be profitable? How was I able to come up with the idea, right? So how I was able to come up with the idea, actually, it is what the chart is telling me. It is what the market is telling me that I was able to narrate the story and execute the story and came out with that crazy reward. We all know, right? We all know, right? We all know, family. So let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. So let's get started. Let's get started. So I want to take us guys through the daily time frame. I want to show us guys the overall bias, what made me to look for that short. So that short position. So let's get started. So we can see on my screen right from here, we're in the daily time frame. And if you have been, following my videos, you will know how I personally trade. I try to keep it simple to myself. No need for complicating it. Trust me, family. I don't need to complicate this game to be profitable. The best way I know that I'm going to be profitable in this game is by keeping it simple to myself and make sure I follow my plan. So As we can see on the daily time frame, just like usual how I used to do it, I used to start up my analysis from the buyer. I used to look at the overall buyers from the daily, then I move down to my 1 hour or 30 minutes time frame, which are my favorite time frame I trade. Then I use the lower time frame for refinement and confirmation that my higher time frame key level, which I am anticipating to see mitigation, will be able to hold price to the direction that I'm actually anticipating to see price going to rise. So that is what I use the lower time frame, and the bigger time frame I use for overall buyers, the 1 hour, the 30 minutes, I look at it where I plan my trade. But this trade, I did not really plan it on the 1 hour's time frame, because the 1 hour's time frame was very chubby. So I took advantage of the 4 hours time frame as well, because the 4 hours time frame was giving me something clear that I can actually look out for. So let's get started. So as we can see on the daily time frame, we are on a very, very strong bullish order flow, right? We're in a very, very strong bullish order flow. What can we see? We can see how price is putting on higher high and higher high and higher low, right? So potentially market was contracting, right? So market was contracting. So I knew that market will be giving me a lower low on the lower time frame, because I understand multiple time frame analysis. And as a trader, you need to understand multiple time frame analysis, because if you did not understand multiple time frame analysis, even when they are telling you the price is fractal, you won't still understand. So you have to understand multiple time frame analysis. It's not only about understanding the structure of the market, you have to understand that price is also fractal. What you can identify on the higher time frame, you can identify it on the lower time frame. What you can identify on the lower time frame, you can identify it on the higher time frame. So I knew that price would be giving me a lower low on a lower high on the lower time frame, because I understand I understand structural multiple time frame analysis. I mean, sorry for that. This game is crazy. The way it is sometimes. You skip some things. So I understand that on the higher time frame, since we are contracting, so any what I will be seeing on the lower time frame, I will be seeing more sales in the market, regardless of the higher time frame bias. So I marked out my higher time frame kill zone, which you can see right here, which I identify as my point of interest, and you can see I identify this as my strong low, because this is the protected low that I'm not really anticipating to see price taking this low out. So I'm anticipating to see a mitigation, then continue with the order flow of the market. That's price should create a new higher high on the daily time frame, and we can see that price is already sitting right there. So what I'm waiting for now is a change of character, but that is not what I'm really here to show us, guys. So we have higher high, higher low, higher high. We have this substructure that was forming. So I moved to my 4 hours time frame. So I was like, keeping it in mind that whatever I'll be doing right here, I will be trading the daily time frame pullback. So I have to keep it in my mind that I'm trying to trade the daily pullback, not the pro trend, right? Not the pro trend. I'm just trying to catch the daily pullback. But the daily is very, very strong, and it's stronger than those lower time frame, 15 minutes time frame, 5 minutes time frame. So I'm comfortable trading the pullback as well. I'm really, really comfortable trading the pullback, to my daily time frame point of interest. So after I was looking at this, when I was looking at the chart, I saw this structure when price was actually expanding, regardless of the overall bias of the market. We can see how price was putting on higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and we had a break of structure, right? We took out this previous higher low. What can we see? We had a retest, right? They retested this last bearish candle before the break of structure, right? Before the down move that leads to the break of this low. They retested that candle and they formed another new lower low, right? Irregardless of the order flow of the market and irregardless of the higher time frame. I think I've showed us guys the higher time frame bias. So we're in a contraction phase. So whatever we'll be seeing more, we'll be seeing sells more than buys for now, right? Irregardless of the higher time frame bias. So we can see we put on a lower low, a lower high. So what I was actually saying, this was the trade idea. This was the clear trade idea right here. This was the clear trade idea. So when I saw this lower low font, I see this lower high, I was not able to take advantage of this because I was not really watching this pair. And trust me, family, this pair, like, I don't pay a lot of attention to this pair. Like, I was my major peers were not giving me what I want to see. So I was like, you know what, I wanna do some Kode, right? Like I try to speak Hausa. That is I know how to speak Hausa very well, and I just feel like putting it in my video, right? So I Kode, it means like I just try to like which word should I actually use? But if you hear Hausa, you understand what I mean, right? So I I try to like go finding another peer and try to take advantage of it if I see good opportunity, and which I saw this, right? I saw this. So after they mitigate of this demand zone, they break, they created a new lower low. So I knew that price will give us another new lower high, because that is the probability, right? That is the probability, in regardless of the what order flow of the market. In regardless of the order flow of the market, I knew that price will give us another new lower high. So what did I actually anticipate? When I saw this new lower low formed, I highlighted this as my trading range. So whatsoever I am looking forward for, I am looking in between this range. In between this range, that is what I'm currently looking at. So I waited, family. Like when trade was here, this is when, well, it was after they created this lower low that I actually planned this trade. So you have to think how many days I've waited for this trade. How many days I've waited for this trade. So sometimes we guys think as if this guy just waited for this trade for just one day and or a couple of hours, and look at the kind of crazy reels to reward he made. No, trading is patience, family. Trading is patience. You need to understand it. So and I don't trade pullbacks. That is how I trade. I always trade with the pro trend. Yes, I know that we're in a contraction phase, but in regardless of the higher time frame bias, and the 4 hours time frame bias, we're in a bearish, and we can see that we're actually contracting also on the 4 hours time frame. So I don't trade this pullback. I always wait for the pro trend. That's to show you how disciplined I am. As that's to show you how disciplined I am in this market, right? So after I spotted this break of structure, I highlighted my range. So I knew that price should potentially pull back to this zone right here, because we had some imbalances that have not yet been refilled, and we can see how this large momentum right here kicking before the break of this previous low. This is where momentum actually kicking from, and we had a sweep of liquidity, and we have this take order block, which is, some people call it order block, supply zone, which whatsoever name you feel like calling it, family, whatsoever name you feel like calling it. We have this supply zone that actually leads to the break of this low that has not been yet retested. So I was actually looking for my probability to play out at this zone right here. I was really looking at this zone as my probability zone, which I want to see how price will be pulling in on this zone, giving me a lower time frame confirmation, 15 minutes time frame break or structure, then I sell down. But as we can see, when price pull back, we had no mitigation. Price did not mitigate of my point of interest. So trust me, family, I did not take this trade. Why? Because price did not mitigate of my points of interest. And imagine how many days I waited for this pullback. Just imagine how many days I've waited for this pullback. So it might sound as if I just waited. Like, trading is a game of patience, family. Trading is a game of patience. Just imagine how I waited for this, pullback. So they were just pulling back. What happened? They broke this previous lower low. They broke this low. Wow, this was crazy. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, look at the days I've waited for this trade. I still, this trade did not actually mitigate my point of interest, and they sold down. So I was looking at this as a liquidity, a buy side liquidity that needs to be captured. This is what I was actually looking at this as, because we can see we close as bearish, and we have this, supply zone that has not been yet mitigated, and we have a lot of orders that is resting here. That is the bank orders, and we have this imbalance right here, and we have momentum that actually kicking from that zone that has not been yet retested. So I was still looking at this zone right here as my point of interest, but as price was selling down, I tried to take advantage of those sells, because I knew that they will be able to hold in regardless of the higher time frame. So right here, we had a break of structure. We can see that is why I took this trade. I remember I took this sell to the down. I took this sell, and I was really anticipating to see this pullback right here. I took this sell, and there's some losses that I took here also. I took some losses here, regardless of what I'm seeing, right? Regardless of what I'm saying, I took some losses right here. I'm not really gonna show us guys that because I don't really want to make this video so long. But I took this sell because I saw that we had a break of this low and we had a pullback, and this aligned with my structural rules, So I look at this as a lower low, a lower high, and we had a break of this previous lower low. So I took this sell to the downside. So potentially, when price was reversing back, I was looking at this because this was the lower high that they printed, which I will be anticipating to see another new low low being formed, right? So price fails to respect the zone right here. Price failed to respect this zone. Yeah, there was a lower time frame confirmation that we can look for long. I took it. I took the opportunity, but price still kicked me out. That is normal in the market. It is something that we can never run away from. We can never run away from losses in this market. So, you just need to well define your losses and move on to the next trade, right? And move on to the next trade. So I took some losses right here. So I was looking at this as an inducement, and what I actually look at for, I look at this as an liquidity because there is a liquidity, trend line liquidity, dynamic liquidity, anyhow you feel like calling it. We have a dynamic liquidity right here. I was potentially looking at this zone right here because also there was a take order there. There was a take order block right there, and before the up move, and we have imbalance that is resting below that zone. So I was also looking at this zone, but what will make me to go in on this trade is if I see a confirmation, which actually that does not play out. So I said to myself that if this will not actually play out, we have liquidity that is resting above this zone also. So this supply zone was not really high probable to me because I knew that there was buy side liquidity at this top, which price can potentially come for. So and also there is an unmitigated zone right here. There is an unmitigated zone right here. So I was potentially patient waiting for it to play out. So after price mitigate that zone that I highlighted here, I did not see a lower time frame confirmation, and I was like, okay, it is fine. Let me look at this one right here because I knew that they will induce people that are selling down from here, right? This buy side liquidity. I knew that there will be an inducement in the market. So I was just patiently looking at this. I said, since they have taken out this high, so what is the next thing for me to do? And I was looking at this zone right here already as my point of interest for a very long time. And I knew that there was an inducement here. So what did I do? I just placed my sell limit from here. The stop was huge. I don't know whether you guys can actually accommodate that stop. It was almost a 76 pips stop loss right from the bigger time frame, which is H4 time frame. It was a 76 stop loss in pips, right? So I was potentially looking at this one. I said, okay, anything that we're gonna happen, let it happen. But I want to take my shot from here, regardless of the higher time frame bias. And I knew that this zone should be respected because there's large momentum that actually kicking from here. And what actually gave me that confidence again, we have this liquidity that is resting below these lows, right? Which there's a potential that price can actually come for them, right? Because not all the time we identify liquidity and those liquidity they will come back and capture them. Not all the time, not all the time. Sometimes they will come for those liquidity, sometimes they will not come for them, right? Sometimes, that is how the market just move because this market is a probability game, right? We don't have 100% of you don't have to put your 100% probability that what you are actually anticipating must play out, right? We must not. So what you should keep in mind is you are observing the masses and you are doing the opposite, and as you are doing the opposite is a probability, right? There is no any 100% probability that what you are anticipating must play out. There is no any 100% probability, so you just need to accept that, right? So we have this supply zone right here. We have this supply zone right here, which I was, like I said, I was looking forward for. So I was like, trust me family, I was like, fuck, should I take this position? Because in regardless of the higher time frame bias, which is the daily time frame, we're in a very strong bullish trend. And when I look at this area here, I see that there was not any perfect mitigation. I was like, God, should I take this short position? Because it's actually risky, but we just need to take that risk, right? It's actually risky. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, man. I planned this trade, and my plan is actually playing out. Why am I having this self doubt? I don't need to think like over and over again. Because when you started thinking like, should I do it? That is when your fear will started, taking over your confidence, right? That is when your fear will start taking over your confidence. So, once your edge just play out, once your plan played out, no hesitation. Like, no hesitation. I was trying to hesitate on this trade, but I was like, fuck it, man. I'm going in. I'm going in. I'm going in. So I was like, fuck it. So I took my sell. I placed my sell limit right here. I said anything that is gonna happen, let it happen. And do you know what? I placed, I decided to say I decided to take my first TP here at 1 to 3. That is how, I have the perfect, like, based on how I manage my trade is the best. Trust me, family, like, based on how I manage my trade is the best. I just love how I manage my trade, which we all know that managing of your trade is very, very important in, this industry. It's very, very important. So it is something that you don't need to play with. It is something that, you don't really need to play with. So I said, if price will reverse back, then I am looking to, take, if price will not able to buy, to sell down to this demand zone, then, let me just, take my TP from here, right? Let me close my partial, that is what I mean to say. Let me close my partial here and allow the rest to run, right? And allow the rest to run. So, boom, price mitigate and they started selling. So after they mitigate off my higher time frame buyers, let me show us guys the lower time frame confirmation entry, the one that gave me the most craziest risk to reward. Like, we all know how lower time frame do that, right? If you trade smart money concept, if you always wait for confirmation, you are going to make crazy risk to reward. You are going to make crazy risk to reward. One trade is enough for you for the whole month. Like, that is how smart money is. That is how smart money is. Let me show us guys the lower time frame confirmation that I was able to make a 33 risk to reward. Like, that was the craziest one. This higher time frame was a 1 to 6 risk to reward. So the lower time frame was a 1 to 36. So let me not just talk much. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I talk much, like, on my videos. I really, really talk much because I believe that I'm sharing value with us. So let me show us guys the 5 minutes time frame. The entry was on the 5 minutes time frame. But what made me to take the entry on the 5 minutes time frame, I also saw something nice on the 15 minutes time frame. That is why I took that sell on the 15 minutes time frame. That is why I took the sell on the 5 minutes time frame. I mean, there was a clear bias on the 15 minutes time frame, and and when I moved on to my 5 minutes time frame, I saw it more clearer, which actually made me to take advantage of it. So after they mitigate of my higher time frame supply, after they mitigate my higher time frame supply, what can we see? This is my higher time frame supply. This is my higher time frame supply. Demand zone, whatever you call it. This is my higher time frame demand zone. Let me show us guys. Let me show us guys what made me took that sell. Let me show us guys. So, like, that lower time frame confirmation was amazed, man. So we have, when they were actually approaching our higher time frame supply zone, we can see, like I said to us guys, you have to understand that market, like, all price is fractal. Like, what you can identify on the higher time frame, you can also identify it on the lower time frame. Price is fractal. Price is fractal, right? What you can identify on the higher time frame, you can identify. So if you understand what I've been doing here, it's the same thing, like, over and over again. Like, we guys all know that when I started my analysis was from the daily to the 4 hours time frame. After I waited for my supply zone to be respected, what again? I waited for lower time frame confirmation. So it's as the same thing as what is happening right now on the daily time frame, that I've seen a mitigation on my daily time frame, and I'm waiting for a break of structure on the 1 hours time frame or 30 minutes time frame, because I am having a daily time frame bias. So I can't just wait for 1 minute time frame and started validating it as the daily has started changing in bias. No, I can't just see that 1 hour break of structure is not enough for me. So 4 hours time frame, 15 minutes time frame break of structure. If I see a 15-minute break of structure, I will actually accept that the 4 hours time frame is ready to start selling, regardless of the bias, so we can see when we are approaching our H4 supply zone, what can we see? We have high, low, high, low, high, low, right? So what happened, family? We had a break of structure. We had a break of structure right here. Sweep this low, right? After they mitigate my H4 supply zone, right? After they mitigate my H4 supply zone, we had a break of structure, and we have before that break of structure, we can see they actually build up liquidity right here. We have liquidity, 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 right? So what happened after they build up that liquidity? This was a liquidity capture. They captured this liquidity. We can see that, right? They captured liquidity. So I target more of the last before the down move, like that is the candle that I most of the time target, right? If you have been seeing how I used to take my entry, I love targeting the last candle before the down move or the last candle before the up move. Like for this is the last candle. This is the last candle before the down move that leads to the break of this structure, and which is really really looking nice to me. It's really really looking nice to me. So this was, my area of targeting. This is an FU candle, whatever you feel like calling it. This is an FU candle. We have a liquidity sweep. They sweep liquidity down from here. So there's a lot of orders that is resting here, right here, right? There's a lot of orders that is resting here. The retailers that are looking to sell at this resistance, they were able to be profitable, right? The retail traders that are looking to sell from here, they were profitable. If you're looking to another bounce, because we have first touch, second touch, we are waiting for the third touch, right? So if you're looking to for this third touch, you can see what actually happens, right? You can see what actually happened. Boom, you have been taken out, right? The sweep liquidity, then we can see that impulse move to the downside that leads to the break of structure. So what I actually said, let's make it. Like let's kill this market. This actually, like all the like what amazed me on this trade, like, and what actually sound crazy on this trade was everything was oh my god, I didn't mean I played with my emotions. Trust me, I will not take this position because this was so late. It was this happened, you know towards 5 in the evening time when spread will start coming up, Nigeria time, 5 p.m. evening time to 6. That was when this actually started happening. Where this thing, I was like, you know what? Should I take this trade? Like, should I take this position? You know what, I'm not gonna take this position because it is not my trading section anymore. Like, I was like, you know what, let's just do it. Sometimes, this market is crazy. I was like, let's go. Then, after I saw that break of structure, I highlighted my supply zone. I was like, let's make it. So I placed my limit and I go to sleep. It was when I wake up I saw this massive push to the downside. I was not watching it as well. I was not really watching it. So after my higher time frame confirmation, we have last bearish candle before the down move. I was looking at all this as a liquidity, so I knew that they should come for those liquidity, and we have this kind of imbalance that has not been yet filled, and we have indecisional candle that is also resting there. So there is a lot of probability that price will potentially come back here before we see that sell to the downside, because looking at my zones of point of interest, this zone right here align with my confluence that I look at for on when looking at my supply or demand zones, right? So I place my stop loss above this zone right here. I place my stop loss above this high, right? So I went to sleep and it was already late. Like, look at the time, Nigeria time. Look at the time. Look at the time. It was already late. It was already late. So I placed my sell limit, and I just get out of the chart. Not all the time you be in the chart. If you are on the chart all the time, you end up making a lot of mistakes. Trust me, it's not by staying in the chart morning, day, night that will make you profitable. Just know what you are doing, know how what you are looking forward for in the market, and just wait for it to play out and get out of the market. If you are either profitable or you take a loss, you just have to accept with both of them because they are all part of the process and they are all part of the game. So I I woke up in the morning and I saw this move. Like, I saw this move. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So should I add another position? Yeah, I saw this. I actually anticipate to see our price will push more higher to this zone, but we can see I missed. I still waited for this. I missed. Price started selling down. Price started selling down. When they hit my 1 to 5, risk to reward. Forget the fact that I waited for this trade for a very long time. I know how I manage my trade. I know how I pay myself in this market, because trust me, if you don't learn how to pay yourself in this market, you will keep getting haunts. Like you will keep getting haunts. So I'm not gonna show us guys how I manage my trade, because you know, it is something that I do. And I'm just gonna show us guys how I was just able. I'm just here to show us guys how I was able to catch this trade, right? So I took partial at 1 to 3 first. That was the first partial I took. I took partial again 1 to 4. Then I allowed the rest to run. I moved my stop loss to break even. That was how I was risky free on this trade. I know you're gonna be amazed. I was totally risky free on this trade. And the higher time frame entry also, I was risking free when I saw this break. When I saw the break of this low, I was like, you know what? Even the higher time frame entry, I should be risking free. And there is nothing that will actually make this price to push higher to this zone and take out this high again. And that is what actually happened. So I was risking free on both trade. I was risking free on both trade. Like there was no any emotions. I've take partial on this trade. I've paid myself. So anything that will happen, let it happen. Anything that will happen, you can see how crazy it is, right? You can see how crazy how like the trade is like the trade idea is very very fun to me. Like the idea was crazy, family. So this was a lower time frame entry. Let me take us guys back to the 5 minutes, the 4 hours time frame, to see the shit that actually happens. um so on the 4 hours time frame, we can see we had my lower time frame entry right here. Let me expand this. Let me expand this. Boom. Okay, this was my lower time frame entry. This was my lower time frame entry. Remember I told us guys that anything that should happen, I'm looking at this zone right here. I'm looking at this zone right here. It should not, if this zone will be able to, push price higher to take me out, then it is fine, man. It is fine, right? Because there's a kind of form of order flow that look very very nice that someone can take advantage of right here. We have higher low, higher low. So I was really really looking at this zone. I was like, fuck it. There's liquidity below, there's imbalance that needs to be filled, and we have this liquidity right here. And regardless of the overall bias, I should see this, being able to take this low out, right? Because this is the lower low. To me, this is the lower low, this is the lower high, this is the lower low. Now, you can see that. So I have my higher time frame entry right here, right? I have my higher time frame entry right there, stop loss a little bit above. This higher time frame was a 1 to 6, targeting this low as well. This was a low I was targeting. I'm gonna show us guys everything. Like I had a trade idea. The trade idea was there, family. Like there is nothing to fake it, right? There is really nothing. This was the higher time frame entry, family. This was the higher time frame entry. As you can see, boom, right? Boom. This was a 1 to 6 reward, not a 1 to 7. So this was the reward. Smash TP. This was my TP. I was targeting this low. We can see that push. Like that was yesterday around 1 a.m. because there was a news, high impact news around 1 a.m. on GPP JPY. Sorry, on JPYPS. So this was the news. Like it was crazy. Like when I when I woke up and I saw this, and I just looked at my MT5, I was so amazed. I was so amazed. Trust me, family. Then this lower time frame entry also. I remember I told us guys I was risking free already. Like there is nothing to worry about. There is nothing to worry about. Like crazy, 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 crazy. I was also targeting this low. I was really targeting this low. Boom, family. Like it was totally crazy. It was totally crazy. So this is how I was able to, catch this crazy risk. It was as simple as this. There is nothing difficult in this market unless you are not patient. Unless you are not patient. Unless you are not patient. So quickly, let me show us guys how the ideal actually looks like, so that it shouldn't actually look like, I just, you know, I'm just going through what has played out and I'm showing us guys. So let me show us guys the trade idea. Let me show us guys the trade idea. Everything like let me show us guys the trade idea. Let me show us guys the trade idea. Let's go. Like this is how it is, family. It is as simple as this. It is as simple as this. You know, I don't know why some people find it so difficult. Like this is my group, my YouTube, my Telegram channel. If you are interested, you can just DM me and we can add you up to the group where I share my ideas. If you are interested in the ideas, you can take advantage of it. So this was a lower time frame entry. Oh my god, this won't actually open. Oh, my Telegram need to update. But we can see right here, right? This was a lower time frame entry. Can you see the idea? I said break of structure, and I was looking at this as an area of entry. Look at it. That liquidity, let me take us guys back to the 5 minutes time frame where it actually played out nicely. Uh, Look at it, right? Look at it perfectly right here. We can see that, right? I low. Nope. We have high, low at the break of structure. Can we see that retest, which I actually anticipate? And you can see where I was looking to take my TP very, very down because I believe that all these are what counter trend. They are easily broken. All these are counter trend. They are easily broken, regardless of the higher time frame bias, right? So, I was just looking to take my TP downside. So, where was the H4 idea? This was the H4 idea. Like, oh my God, it's not going to play out. Like I told us guys, this game is a game of patience. Can you see what actually happened? We had that break first before the pullback. Respect that zone perfectly before that down move, and we can see where I look to take my TP perfectly, like oh my god, and you can see what I said. Keep an eyes on Europe JPY from let's see how the probability will play out, and look at how it played out powerful, like crazy, man. So this is how I was able to come up with this powerful mighty trade so far this month. Like I'm so excited. This is not my biggest win as well. I've catch trades that are more than the average reward, but this December period is very, very crazy. We're not seeing any nice move in the market. Like look at Europe USD, look at Europe USD, let it play out. We can still I just alerted this box. There's a lot of consolidation. This area right here, there is no any decision to make right here because there's a lot of noise. If you are trying to force it to trade here, you will end up getting stopped out. You will take too much loss. Trust me, you will take too much loss. Like yesterday, I took a loss on this motherfucking guy because we have low, high, low. We had the break of this low. I was looking to sell from here, right? I was looking to sell from here. I had this sell from here. They gave me some push to the downside and boom, they took me out. And they have not yet broken that high. They are still consolidating. They are still consolidating. So there is no any clear decision that someone can take here. There's no any clear decision. So just stay away. Stay away. If you're not seeing anything reasonable to trade, you don't need to force it. Wait for what you would love to see very clear before looking to take advantage of it. So, there's not anything clear right here. I'm still waiting for the H4 bias to be expected. You can see I'm trying to share the idea with us. We have a low, a high. So I'm waiting for a pullback right here. Once I see that pullback, you can see how I actually drew it very clear here. This is what I'm anticipating. See a 15-minute time frame change of character. Then I take my buy. If this zone right here fails to hold price, then I'm looking at this zone right here to be respected and also give me that break of structure. And if they decide to take out this low, then potentially that totally shows that all those liquidity are ready to start being hunt. All this liquidity that are resting below here are started ready to get hunt, and we have our what daily bias, right? Our daily bias is bullish, right? On Europe USD, my view, I'm totally bullish. On my view, I'm totally bullish. I have those supply demand zone that has not been yet respected, which I will be anticipating to see those zones being respected, giving me my lower time frame confirmation to take my long position. So I know a lot of traders are looking at the Euro BSD as a bearish trend now, but for now, regardless of what I'm seeing on the weekly time frame, monthly time frame, I'm not really, really bullish or not really, really bearish for now. I'm bullish on the higher time frame. So this is what I'm just seeing on Euro BSD. So if they take out this low, fine. fine. I will be looking at, a pullback, and that is how simple it is. That is how simple it is. So you just need to think in probability, right? You just need to think in probability. Not all the time what you anticipate will play out. Not all the time what you anticipate will give you, like, just think in probability, family. I'm talking so much. I'm really talking so much right now. So this is how I was able to come up with this crazy risk reward. Like, family, you feel me? You feel me? You feel me? You feel me? Like, that is how simple trading is. If you are disciplined, you follow your trading plan, you can come up with a very, very good result as well. So this is my biggest win so far. This is my biggest win. You can't believe this was November. I planned this trade since from November. Look at it, November 22. That was when I planned this trade. That was when they took out this low right here. That was when they took out this low. And November 22, right? You just imagine how patient I am. Those and my patience was not actually wasted. Like, my 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 emotions try to play a role on this trade, but you know what? We are stronger than our emotions. You just need to be stronger than your emotion. Yes, that is what made you a trader. Because if you always allow your emotions, your fear to control you on your trade, then trust me, there is no way you execute your trade perfectly. And my best advice is, if you are finding that very difficult, just embrace risk management. Once you understand risk management, you will stop blowing your account. That is number one. And you'll be having good risk to reward trade. Once, even though you take a loss, you know that once you catch a one trade, it will cover your losses. So it is as simple as that. So this is what I really have for us. This video is really, really taking long. Trust me, family, it has already taken long. So I talk much, man. So this is what I really have for us. Cheese farm.